And we're live. What's up, Reds? Welcome to the Sunday Summary Talk Show on Nothing But Reds. We're going to be chatting about the big match. Going away to Old Trafford, Man United, Liverpool. Huge implications, really. The last two games were huge, top four implications, and we blew it. So now we're really under the gun here, and we got to get it done. With me, as always, is Steve. How are you, Steve? And
what's going on?
We got a legend. We got Doug with us today. Doug, special guest. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing very, very well. Thank you very much to the both of you for having me. And the biggest game in English football. I'm a bit apprehensive, not going to lie. But let's get into this.
Let's get into it, guys. We want to give some shout outs to the chat. We got Liz, who's already calling me late today. All right, thanks, Liz. It's not just me up here. There's three of us. We got Shayna, Romario, what's going on? Downturd, Tony, George, Seek Chan. I'm interested to see George's takes today because last week George had some hot takes, but we'll get into all of that. So first off, guys, Man United, current form, all right? What are you afraid of going into this match, if anything at all? What are you worried about the most? Because when you look at our schedule, right, I was expecting our tough match to be Man United. Right, I was expecting us to come away with 3 points from Newcastle and Leeds, and that didn't happen. Now we got to go away to Old Trafford. And although I'm positive, Doug, we were talking about this beforehand as well. I feel like this is the game. This would be an excellent game to turn it around and get 3 points, right? To kind of shut everyone up a little bit and just to maybe get that momentum going into the last 5 games or so. Let's get Doug's thoughts first, man. We'll open it up with you.
Yeah, definitely. This is a huge game because we have to say that the last 2 results have been very, very disappointing. Leeds United and Newcastle United. I mean, Newcastle United, how we didn't win that game with so many shots is unreal. And then it's obviously lose a last-minute goal as well. We just seem to have a knack of scoring early, and then when it gets to about 90 minute, we always seem to lose a goal. So we can't afford to do that today. We have to start on the front foot against Manchester United. But the thing is with them is that likelihood is if they lose, then the title cities. So that's a bit of
confirmed now too. If we beat them, City are champions. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's an added incentive to obviously go there and boost our top 4 hopes. But then again, they will say that they'll be a bit added incentive into stopping us getting top 4. So, I mean, if it was anything like the cup game, then we're in for an absolute cracker. But if we're in for the game at Anfield, it's going to be an absolute bore fest. So I hope it's the latter. I hope it's a very, very exciting game, and I hope we can get the 3 points.
All right. And Steve, before we head over, I just want to give a shout out to my mother's given me a shout out, so I got to give her a shout out. Yes, I passed my physical therapy boards this past week. Got the results. Thank God. That was the longest 2 years of my life. All right. And we're back in it. So that's a huge weight off my shoulders. Thanks for the shout out, Ma. Yeah, Steve, what's going on with you, my man?
Yeah, Kyle, congratulations, man.
Hey, thanks, man.
Congratulations.
Dude. Congratulations. It is. No, jokes aside. Good stuff. For those of you that don't know, Kyle does have life outside of this channel.
Yeah, no, believe it or not.
And he can heal you and rehabilitate you. If anything were to happen, God forbid.
I know it. But
anyways,
so hit me up with all your physical therapy needs, people.
Doug hit everything. This game, we want it to be exciting, but who knows which way it's going to go. This could be an insane game. There could be yellow cards, red cards, or it could be a 0-0 draw, boring, 50-50 possession with not a whole lot of action. So I don't know what to expect. All I know is it's a must-win for us, more so than it is for them. Because they're not going to win the title. I mean, I think statistically there's still a chance, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I'd have to.
For us, there's just larger implications. So, but I think because of that, we need it more.
Yeah.
But just the magnitude of this rivalry could just create in so many different types of games. I'm excited. Don't know what to expect though, to be honest. No clue.
Well, look, if I'm looking back at the previous game, right, we got a 0-0. Right? I hate that. Like the build up to the biggest game that you said in English football, Doug, 0-0 back at Anfield. Like that is the last thing I want to see. And Doug, you hit it on the head as well. Like it's really weird. We've done a complete 180. Last year, we were the team that was able to go away at matches and then get those late goals in like the 80th, the 90th minute in extra time. And now I wouldn't say like all season, but we have been letting in late goals, especially and obviously in the last 2 games. That worries me, especially in a game like this where these are one of those games where every player is gonna go all out, balls to the wall, especially as the game winds down if it's close, right? And I feel like that when we're under pressure, that's when we're going to concede these late goals. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I really hope it doesn't. But if I'm just going on, recency bias, right, it could happen that way. Now, let me share my screen with everyone so you guys are able to see. Real quick, give shout out to Liz. Liz, thank you very much for the super chat. Appreciate it. Thanks for being here as well. And thanks to Shayna and everyone else saying congrats. And like I said, let me pull up this here, share my screen. If we're looking at the previous matches, the 0-0 that I mentioned, but then it always leads to a good game, guys. It really does. I mean, at least an energetic one, whether or not there's goals or not, right? But we had the 2-0 win at Anfield against Man United. Everyone remembers that. Salah or Allison sprinting down the field to Salah. What a game that was. Was that one? Or was that? No, that was this one down here, wasn't it? No, it was this one. It was Shaqiri.
Yeah, it was the 3-1 was Shaqiri. The 3-1 was Shaqiri.
And then this Mourinho, adios. Yeah. And then, yes.
Yeah.
2-0 is, the Salah when he ripped his shirt off.
God, that like still lives in the minds of like most Liverpool fans. Like, I mean, I would think so. Like when I think of Salah, I immediately go to that picture where he took his shirt off and he's just screaming at the cop, man.
One more thing to point out here. That 1-1 is Lallana.
Oh my
Lallana
God.
equalizer in the white kit with the blue shorts.
Yep.
Talk about a terrible game to watch. Just awful. We just didn't look good. They bring on Lallana. I'm like, all right, here we go. And then he taps in the equalizer late in the game. And I was thinking this morning, I woke up this morning and I'm like, wow, Liverpool and United, like what a matchup. What's the first thing that pops into my mind? That Lallana equalizer. I love that guy. I absolutely love Adam Lallana. We've had some crazy games against these guys. This could be a crazy day.
It really could be. It could be back and forth. It could be just a blowout. It could be anything. But yeah, that Lallana goal, man. And just a quick shout out to Naby Keita. Naby Keita came on with Lallana and made a difference in that game. Just want to say it. I think Naby Keita actually created that chance for Lallana. I'm just going to put that out there.
Yeah. I also remember that 0-0 in the Sunday, the 24th of February. That was the game that Manchester United made 3 substitutions in the first half.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because they had a bunch of injuries, didn't they?
Yeah,
like Rashford got injured or something.
Rashford, I think it was Martial, and I think Jesse Lingard got injured.
That was crazy.
Yeah, so I remember that game. That was a bit of a drab affair as well. So, yeah, look, these games are usually tight between Manchester United and Liverpool. They are usually very, very tight. I mean, I'll say this now. Since 2004, we've won twice in 17 years at Old Trafford. So if anything was to happen for a big win today, it's today. Because our record at Old Trafford is absolutely horrendous. The only 2 wins we've got in 17 years is a 4-1 win in 2009 and a 3-0 win in 2014. So usually when we win at Old Trafford, we do actually win very convincingly. So I'm hoping today is a bit of the same.
Yeah, hopefully Klopp gets his first win at Old Trafford. That would be a good thing to cement his place in Liverpool history, even though it's already there. But that would just add to it. Yeah. Steve, what are you thinking about it? And I just want to point out, but while you're thinking about that, I mean, this form guide, I kind of like not seeing any red there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's rare.
It's rare. It's been rare this season. But
now, United hasn't beat us since the 2-0 Rashford brace game, correct? In the league.
2-1. By scored an OG for us.
2-1. Okay, yeah, that's right. We talked about this. We already talked about this. Yeah, it's been a while since they beat us in the league.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like people think, we did lose to them this year, but that was in the cup, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like we have their number recently, but just not so much at Old Trafford. So this game has draw written all over it.
The thing that I hate about these games is that you, as Liverpool fans and also as Man United fans as well, when you go into it, the rivalry is so intense that because one team has to play bad, right? I mean, you can have a draw, of course, but usually there's one team that's on the front foot. It's almost embarrassing, right? It's not like playing Newcastle and Leeds. Like, that's frustrating as a fan to draw that game or give up the late goal. But when it's against Man United or it's against Everton, it's just an extra like motivator or an extra embarrassment if we don't play well. That's my biggest worry. Like, I don't want to go in and get blown out like we did against City earlier this season. That's the last thing I want. Like, I want to go in and give these guys a game. Of course, that's what I think is going to happen. But it's just always tough at Old Trafford.
Yeah. We don't usually play well there, and they don't usually play well at Anfield. So, there's just something about this fixture that gets everyone going. But you know what? This is a huge game because it's more incentive for top four. Obviously with Chelsea winning yesterday, Leicester drawing with Southampton as well. There is a slight chance to still get it, but I think today is must win and must not lose.
Oh, 100%. So statistically, we can still make top four, right? Well, I know that.
Yeah. I mean, we would know if we were eliminated.
Yeah. And I think about it and I'm just like, man, like what do you think would happen? I'm usually the optimist, but I do want to ask it. Like, I want to see, since Doug, you haven't been on the show in a while, I do want to ask your opinion. If we don't get top four this season, what do you think is going to happen to the squad? Do you think Klopp has the pull to keep these players together? Or do you think, let me ask it a different way. Do you think the players, I think the answer is yes, but I want to get your thoughts. Do you think that we have the players that are not going to want to go to a club that has Champions League football? They're going to want to stay and stick it out with this club?
Yeah, I'm in totally agreement with you. I think Klopp has a pulling power. Like, we are going to get Konate. He played in Champions League this season for Leipzig. So I think he definitely does still have the pulling power. And we are being linked with a few players like Bissouma. Bissouma seems to be one at Brighton. Watched their game against Leeds yesterday, and he was fantastic. Really, really good. So he would be a very good Gini Wijnaldum replacement. Yeah, look, I think we can still get players. Look, if we do get Europa League, then it is what it is. But we have the added incentive of we have got potentially the Olympics coming up as well. Like Salah, I think Salah, Mane, and possibly Firmino might be at that as well. And also we have the African Cup of Nations coming up in January as well. So we definitely, I think it's all about strength and depth now rather than quantity over quality.
Well, really I'll say this. Point. If we make Europa League, you're right. It is what it is. Like, there's obviously nothing we can do about it. I'll tell you who won't be happy. Virgil van Dijk. He won't be happy coming back to play in the Europa League because he's the best defender in the world. And I think we'll lose somebody. I don't know who. I can't even imagine who, but I would imagine there's got to be one person that causes a stink and leaves. I'd like to think we have the bodies and the mentalities within our squad that people won't want to leave. But these guys are in their prime.
Yeah.
If they can go somewhere else and make more money and play in the Champions League, I think someone might jump at that opportunity. I don't know if it's Salah. I don't know if it's Mane. I don't see Firmino doing that.
No,
I don't see him. He's really. I feel like he's more. I don't know if you guys follow him on social media, but he's really he's extremely religious. He's extremely passionate about faith and things of that nature. And I think he's just like really stable where he's at, and he likes playing for Liverpool. I listened to one of his quotes the other day, and he's just like really positive about the whole situation. But if we make Europa League, guys,
yeah,
I don't know. People will still come. The likes of Konate, sure. I mean, he's young. He knows Liverpool's not going to be in the Europa League every year. And he knows there's still a chance this year, and they've probably been working on this deal for a number of months. But anybody that we were going to make a big push at in the summer, that could deter them. You think about a Sancho or someone else that's been linked. Who knows? One of the big names, Haaland, Mbappe, maybe.
Right.
Bissouma, he'll come here because he's playing for Brighton now.
Yeah.
No matter what, he'll come.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not good. It's really not good at all. We have to make top 4. We know that, but drawing these last 2 games in the fashion that we did shows that our mentality is weak compared to what it used to be, and we're shooting ourselves in the foot.
Yes.
It's not like anybody's taking top 4 from us. We're doing it to ourselves. Self-inflicted. And then we deserve what we get if that's the case.
Yeah, and one thing I want to point out is just how incredible the difference is. Like when you think about our last 2 seasons, how good we actually were, how insanely good we were. And then you look at this season, the struggles we had, of course, injuries and things of that nature. Excuse me. I mean, we really miss some of these players that give us that stability. I think, Steve, you touched on it like really well. Like Bobby Firmino, and I think all of our Brazilian players are very much like that. Like Alisson as well. Alisson's very into his faith. I feel like Fabinho, not as much as Alisson and Firmino, but they're still all close. We have a good set of players in terms of they all have good heads on their shoulders. And with that in mind, I really feel like the only people that would leave, and I'm really grasping at straws here, would be like maybe like a Mane or a Salah. But really, though, I don't think it's going to happen. I just did want to pose the question just to see what everyone was thinking. Let's go over to the chat and see what people are talking about that, and then we'll move into some previous matchups for Man United. Steve, what were you going to say?
If I was a betting man, I'd say no one's going to leave, but I think there's a chance.
Yeah.
I'd say it's 65% chance no one, 35. That's just my guess. But you don't know what's going on in Mane's head or Salah's head. There's a ton of rumors flying around constantly about these two.
Exactly. There was a rumor that came out the other day. I mean, obviously, we're trying to extend Fabinho's contract. Pay the man, please. The man's incredible. There's a rumor saying that if he wants to leave, he's going to go to Madrid. Of course, everyone who's good is linked to Madrid at some point throughout the season. I mean, every year. That's just how it happens, right? Fabinho's not going anywhere.
Klopp, go ahead. My bad.
It's all right. So I'm used to it at this point, Steve. No, I'm just playing. So I really think that Klopp's not an idiot, and Fabinho knows that. What's Fabinho? 27 years old, right?
Sure.
He's in his prime. Right? He did great things at Monaco. He came to Liverpool. These guys want stability, right? And I think that's what Klopp, he puts a lot of emphasis on that when he goes out and scouts these players. I think everyone can agree with me here. We're not bringing in players that are money grabbing players. They're players that want stability. They're players that want a club that's going to treat them like a good asset, not just someone who's going to sell shirts or someone who's going to come in and score goals. We have a good relationship with all these players. You see that with all the videos we do on YouTube with like the Besties series, right? And then all the stuff they do with the Liverpool Foundation, and it's a very good club. It's a very family oriented club. And I think we have all the right players for that. You know what I mean?
You're right. And people here are saying that fans are on the pitch at Old Trafford. Game could be called off. Before we even address that, the thing about Fabinho is he's in a sticky situation. Part of the reasons probably why he came is because Firmino, Coutinho, Alisson, these Brazilians are here. You create a small family away from your country. He has the ability to sit behind Thiago and learn from him, because Thiago's a world-class midfielder and he's got so much experience. He's in the perfect scenario. Mane, Salah, there's no one from their home country that's here. Really? There's nothing tying them here other than the love and support they've received from the club, and
you have that African connection, of course. Kaba, and that's another thing I do want to point out. Klopp does try to get he has a lot of diversity in the club in terms of different nationalities. I mean, Kabak Turkish, right? You have Robertson Scottish. You do have a solid number of English players, but then you look at our African players, right? You have Naby Keita, you have Mane, you have Salah. Konate has dual citizenship with France and Mali. If you guys haven't looked at the player profile I did, go check that out. It's a good player profile. But yeah, I mean, I feel like that's a good strategy to get players. Don't you guys think? A lot of diversity.
Yeah.
I think the thing is, I think we'll probably see the likes of like an Origi, an Ox, possibly leave in the in the summer. I think Van Alden's gone. I don't think there's going to be a new contract for him. But if you look at like the players that we have on our bench, like Shaqiri, I'll be sad to see him go. I think we'll all be sad to see him go because of, yes, he hasn't played much, but everyone will be remembered for Barcelona. He'll be remembered for sacking Mourinho, against Manchester United as well. So Ox hasn't really happened for him, unfortunately, for the for his career. Injuries have really played a part in him. And I actually think now, I think you'll see Origi going. I don't think he's actually in Klopp's plans or anything. I think that's why he's been missing from the bench. I don't think he's injured. I think he's just out of favour.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. I think he's out of favor too. I mean, Klopp kind of throws him in like the 88th minute, like, go ahead, lad, do something. But yeah, he's just
Origi.
Origi.
Well, Origi and Ox, I'm kind of, because they're kind of on the same page. I feel like they've done great things in the past, and of course, Origi will always be remembered for just excellent games. I mean, Origi sacked what's his face, the old Everton manager Silva.
Yep.
Sacked him, right? I mean, it's just like we have these guys who are just legendary players with the club, and then like Lallana, they end up leaving, and a part of me is positive about it. Like with the last player we actually like sold on and it was a negative thing was Coutinho, right? Every player that's left since then has been a positive thing. Lallana left on a free, right? When Wijnaldum's getting ready to leave on a free. And I think maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe the club do that in a sense that they don't want to look back and say, we sold on this player. They want to end on good terms. This player stayed for the course of his contract with us, left on good terms. That's just me thinking optimistically. But let's go over to the chat real quick. So apparently protesters are on the field. Liz was telling us that they were leaving voluntarily. Let's go over to see if we can get some updates. Again, I don't know how accurate any of this stuff is here, but Liz saying protesters in front of the team hotel also. Yeah, Liz, keep us updated in there just because I don't have it in front of me. But yeah, Kent, what's going on? Guys, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the thumbs up button as well. And make sure if you are subscribed, hit the notification bell because YouTube is notorious for not sending those notifications for when we go live and upload videos. So make sure you do that. Kent, Origi is an average player with special moments. Time to let him go. Yeah, well, we've been freaking shopping Origi for the longest time, but I won't get into that. Let's go back to the statistics. I love stats. I love the season so far. Now we're in 6th. Man United, it hurts to say they're in 2nd. It's just crazy because when you think about back at the beginning of the season, Man United were literally right above the relegation zone for it was early. It was like the first 8 or 10 games. And now they're in 2nd towards the end of the season, right? They haven't lost much. It's good there. The statistics offensively for average goals per match, goals conceded, fairly even, right? They do have 13 clean sheets. We do have 9. And I want to ask you, Doug, what do you think? Dean Henderson's been starting the last few games for them, correct? What do you think's going on? Is De Gea injured? Like, what's going on? Do you think is he just out of favor?
I think De Gea is now the cup goalkeeper for Man United. I think you've seen from I think since February onwards, I think that Dean Henderson's the number 1 goalkeeper for them, and it's good to see because Dean Henderson did very well at Sheffield United last season, and to be honest, he's actually been very, very good in a United shirt. He commands his box very well. I think that's what Solskjaer is looking for in a goalkeeper, is that a goalkeeper can command his box. I'm not sure De Gea can do that very well. But Henderson's been very, very good this season. So you can understand why De Gea is the cup goalkeeper now.
Yeah. What do you think, Steve?
I mean, saw this coming. He was playing
bad. It was only a matter of time.
He was out of form for a while, and then he bounced back for a bit. Yeah. It's still tough to imagine him as like a second choice keeper.
Yeah, and that's kind of
because he was on top for so long. It's true. He makes he is on such high wages, and I think he could go somewhere else and be their number 1, of course. Well, yeah, I don't think he's the type that wants to be second choice, even if it's for $350K a week.
Yeah,
he wants to show he's still got it. It's just a matter of who's.
Everyone knows the joke. It was a fax machine that stopped him from going to Real Madrid, and stopped him from getting 3 European Cups in a row. So yeah, look, I think Man United make a decision on De Gea in the summer. I don't think he's going to be there next season. I think Dean Henderson is now the number 1 goalkeeper, and I think you'll see Romero leave. I think you might see. Their third choice goalkeeper is Lee Grant, but to be honest, he's his only good thing as a goalkeeper is probably lifting up a substitutes board. Enough said. So I would actually say that De Gea will go, Romero will go, and then they're going to need a substitute goalkeeper. I think Henderson's number 1 for the long term.
It's crazy because if De Gea goes, I don't know who's going to take on those wages or what's going to happen there. I don't know if his contract is up at the end of the year, but that's going to free up 300-something thousand a week for them to pay someone else. That's not good for us. That's not good for City. Yeah. They can bring in an absolute superstar.
So how many superstar keepers are there out there? I mean,
no, not keepers, just players. That frees up 350,000 per week.
That's a lot.
Give to someone else.
Yeah, that's a lot.
If they're able to get rid of him.
Yeah. And real quick, I'll touch on this, Ken. Ken, I think this is a common misconception. It's kind of like Bigfoot. Like Ben Davies is not a real thing. That was just a PR stunt, and it didn't happen. He's not real. What do you guys think? You have anything to add there?
He reminds me of Casper the Ghost, always disappearing. He's never there. So yeah, for me, he's Casper the Ghost.
Oh my God, Seek Chan thinks he'll actually play today, and scoring a last-minute header will win the match. Now, look, let's go back to the stats. Okay, like I said, Man United, bro, 9-0 win at Southampton. All right, I forgot that happened this season. Actually, I forgot about that. And didn't Southampton lose something like? Didn't they lose that, or maybe they won by that amount? They lost like 10-0 or something like within the last 5 years, or 9-0. That's like not the first time this has happened.
Back-to-back seasons that they've lost 9-0. They lost 9-0 to Leicester City and they lost 9-0 to Manchester United.
That's right.
So yeah, one was at home and one was away. You have to feel for Hasenhüttl because look, Southampton are a very, very good side, but the fact that they've lost 9-0 in consecutive seasons is very, very worrying. Their form isn't the best. I actually think, and this might sound a bit weird, but I can see Hasenhüttl getting the sack at the end of the season.
100%. I agree.
Wow. They just extended his contract. Literally, they just gave him that contract extension. Why would they sack him?
When are you saying just? Like
literally either this past summer or the summer before they extended it.
And they probably felt like it was the right move when Southampton was sitting towards the top of the table. But I think we all knew they were going to come crashing back down to earth. And now they've been average or less or below average.
Yeah.
And I think
another thing with Hasenhüttl, I think he will go to Spurs.
Ooh, yeah.
All right, hot take. Write it down. We'll revisit. Yeah, I mean, sheesh. I think he's gone. I think he's got to leave Southampton.
Yeah, well, shoot. The guy who just signed for Bayern? Remind me of his name.
Leipzig.
Yeah, that guy. He was in the running for Spurs. Apparently, he turned that down. So Spurs are obviously looking
Smart
to get
for him.
Top.
I'd go to Bayern.
Ten Hag at Ajax was in the running for Spurs, and he signed a new contract.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. It's like, Spurs are obviously hunting for like top managers, but do you want to go to Spurs right now? That's the question. I mean, Jose Mourinho, if Jose Mourinho couldn't turn that club around, do you think it was Jose Mourinho or you think it's something with the club? We're going off on a little bit of a tangent. We'll circle back to the match, but I do want to get y'all's thoughts on this.
I think it's the club.
Oh, 100%.
I think it's Levy. I don't even think it's the manager.
Daniel Levy's the problem there. The fact that they sacked Mourinho 6 days before a cup final just says it all, really. Yes, I know Mourinho hasn't had a very good season with Spurs. I know results weren't the best, but that's the first time ever that Jose Mourinho has been sacked in a second season at a club. So you have to say that he's kind of finished at the top as a manager. I don't think we'll see him in the Premier League again. I think you might see him in like Italy or potentially a national team's job.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, dude, I think if they didn't sack him, I think Tottenham may have won that cup. And the reason I say that is because I feel like Mourinho, regardless of how you feel personally about him, he's a successful manager. I mean, everywhere he's gone, I feel like he's won something. I mean, he except for Tottenham, right? I feel like is Tottenham the first club he hasn't won anything at?
Yep.
Yeah. So,
well, his tactics have just become less and less effective over the years as football has changed. I think you could even put Jurgen Klopp at Tottenham and they'd struggle. Like big changes need to happen on the roster, in the squad. And like, I don't know what the answer is. They have a good keeper. They have solid players. They have great attackers and Son and Kane. I don't know what the answer is, but I know it's not just the manager. I know it's not just like Mourinho or whatever.
It's just
Harry Kane's got to go.
They have, he's going to go. He's got to go. They have great players, but how much longer are these great players?
Cursed. It's almost like they're cursed.
It didn't make sense.
As far away from that club as possible.
It did not make sense sacking Mourinho, the only person to be in Guardiola in a cup final. Yeah, says it all, right? Really.
They don't really think about it, right? And I will encourage everyone. I mean, go watch the documentary that Spurs did. It's very interesting. I think it's on Amazon or whatever. But let's head back to the statistics here. And I stopped sharing my screen, so let's bring this up. Top player stats. Let's look at it. All right. Mo Salah, sitting comfy, 20 goals. But then look at Bruno and Marcus Rashford there. Man United going forward have been an incredible threat. Bruno Fernandes is so dangerous, dude. Regardless of what it is, whether it's distributing, whether it's flopping, whether it's scoring, the guy is dangerous. We got to look out for Bruno Fernandes. And Steve, we talk about this all the time. I would take Bruno Fernandes at Liverpool in a heartbeat.
Look, he doesn't have the work rate for me. Would I take him? Sure. If it's just like, hey, do you want Bruno Fernandes? Sure. There's a lot of players I'd rather have above him. The thing with Bruno is, like, when we played them, we've played them twice like in a span of like a week or 10 days earlier this year, I think. Mm-hmm. One was in the cup, one was in the league, I think. One game he barely touched the ball. Do you guys remember that?
He was missing at Old Trafford. He was missing at Anfield. I think we actually did really
turn up. He doesn't turn up.
We did really well to contain them that day. Like, they should have won that game because Pogba had a chance to score. Alisson made a very, very good save.
Yeah.
But the thing with Bruno Fernandes is, and I've said this a lot, he is a very good player. But some games, like Leeds last week, he went completely missing.
He does.
He's that kind of player. He is a game changer, and he's definitely a match winner as well. So we are going to have to be very, very careful. But if we manage to contain them like we did at Anfield, then if you stop Bruno, United don't score.
No, seriously. Like, he had something like 18 touches the whole match.
Yeah,
like something insane. And the thing with Bruno is, like, he doesn't have any defensive work rate. The only time you'll see him turn it up a notch is when he has the ball or when there's an opportunity to score. He likes to walk around. He likes to jog around a lot. He's very, very smart. His football IQ is through the roof. He can create chances. He can seed through balls. He can shoot. He's got great curve on his crosses. Like, he's just a smart player. So that's why he's dangerous. But if I would want him at Liverpool, like, there's other players I'd rather have that are going to show up every game and put in the defensive work rate as well.
I'll level with you 100% right there because he fits perfectly with Pogba as well. They don't have that work ethic that you see in almost every single Liverpool player.
It's like a FIFA match.
What's that?
It's like a FIFA 21 match.
Yeah, well, I mean,
it's like a video game with those guys.
Yeah, you have players that are great going forward. You have an average defense, but because they're so good going forward, at least this season they're second in the table. They're very good. They're very good going forward.
The one thing I will say about Bruno Fernandes, he's hardly had a break this season. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer seems to play him in every single game. I think there's only been a couple of games. I think maybe the FA Cup game, he came on in that game and completely changed the match. bar that, he's actually played in every single game. So they're actually risking him, getting an injury. Marcus Rashford's the same. I think he's been playing with an injury for a wee while now. So they are going to burn out these players if they're not careful.
One thing I'll say about that, playing players every week, and this is why I love Wijnaldum so much. These guys are professional athletes. They should be able to play every single game. Like, when you're playing at that level, when you're getting paid this much, and these guys are at the peak of their physical performance, they should have no problem playing every game. Now, does that mean they shouldn't get a rest every now and then? Sure. In the States, we call it load management, right? They should get a rest every now and then, right? But playing every game is not a big deal like people make it. It is a big deal when you don't have a rest the entire year. So, like, for example, if these players go and play international football during the summer and they don't have, like, a couple weeks off, yeah. But I just wanted to point that out. I feel like if you can play every game, you should be playing every game. And that's why you look at Wijnaldum, Salah plays damn near every game. Like, so does Bobby. And, it's just something you look at. Robertson, kid is an engine. It's unbelievable. This guy, Robertson. When was the last time we rested Robertson? If you can point that out. No, can't think of it.
Lincoln City.
Was it who played?
We played Lincoln City and Shimikas was left back that day.
I thought you said City. I was like, wait, what?
Lincoln City. There you go. There's a prime example. He doesn't
says all.
Yeah, Lincoln City. Robertson.
Let's just close the loop on the Bruno thing. He could. No, for me, no. I'd rather have De Bruyne. That man's a work rate. That man has work rate.
Listen to me. I would 100% rather have De Bruyne. I promise you. I was just saying I would take Bruno in a heartbeat. Yeah,
but I would. I think when I look at our squad, I never look at someone and go, why are you jogging? Why are you walking?
Never.
Ever. And you can do that with all the great players. Messi, Ronaldo, Neymar, all of them.
Messi walks so much.
All of them, right. But they are legends. Bruno hasn't deserved that. Bruno hasn't earned that yet. Not that those guys have, but they're also like 35. And they score 100 goals a year. So, like, it's different. I'm tired of turning on United games and watching Bruno put a ball over the bar or, like, put a cross out of bounds and then walk and throw his hands up and look at his teammates. It's like, you haven't earned that, right? Why are you walking? That pisses me off. That really makes me mad. We don't have anybody like that. I like that.
Coaching, too. I honestly think it does, because if that wasn't okay at United, you would see Bruno at least putting in effort. You would see Pogba not being lazy. It comes down to the culture that's at the club. I feel like granted, he's done good as manager, you could argue, this season, just because of look where United are, right? You could argue that. But if they had respect for the manager, right? If the club didn't see Pogba or Bruno as bigger than this manager or like as more pull, you would see these players like putting in more effort. That's just what I feel like. I feel like when you respect a coach, like our players respect Klopp, you give 120% every time you're on the field. But again, that's just me. All right.
It's just those two, though. It's just those two and Martial.
Yeah, I think the one thing I will say about United, Cavani's been a big surprise because I didn't think he was going to be as good as he actually has been. But he is a goal scorer. He is very, very clinical. We have to watch out for him today. He'll be a bit of a danger man. Greenwood's another one. I think Greenwood's had a very good season. So they've got some very, very good players along the pitch. I just think if we can get at Maguire and Lindelof today, and Wan-Bissaka, I know people obviously say Wan-Bissaka tackles. Like Wan-Bissaka is probably for me the best one-on-one to get tackle in Premier League defender of that ilk. He is suspect defensively. He is very, very suspect defensively. He's been caught out a lot this season. So if we can get balls in behind their defence, I think we'll get a lot of joy.
It's valid. I would say Wan-Bissaka going forward isn't that great. I feel like clearly you look at the tackles here. I mean, the stats, and again, stats don't tell the whole story, but leading in tackles with 85 tackles, and then you got Fred at 73. What do you think about this when we were talking about Bruno Fernandes not having that work ethic on the defensive end? 53 tackles. I mean,
Play
that's
every minute,
higher.
it's going to happen. You play every single minute. That's going to happen.
Yeah, that's valid. That's valid. And
Yeah.
you know, it's a good point. It's a good
That's
point.
just my opinion.
No, I
And I
think
could be
it's
wrong.
accurate.
This is just what I see.
Yeah.
You're going to see him walking today, literally walking across the pitch.
Yeah,
Crazy.
I mean, it's going to happen. It's going to
It's
happen. Real
crazy.
quick, let's take a break from over here. Let's go over to the chat. First off, guys, if you haven't, subscribe to the channel. We're so close to 4,000. I think we're 21 people away from 4,000. Subscribe, share. It's a huge milestone. And also, check out my man, Doug. Doug, you're at 1,200, aren't you?
Almost. I'm 4 subscribers away from 1,200.
Almost
Let's
at
get him to
1,200
right now. Everyone, go to Doug's channel and subscribe right now.
Go over, subscribe. Man, crazy.
Plug
Girl, what's
the
going
channel,
on?
Doug. What is it? Dugout Football?
Dugout Football channel.
Go check them out.
Go check him out, guys. Aaron T asking, why does Salah not dribble anymore? I want him to attack Shaw. Dude, I just feel like it's been his delivery recently. He hasn't been getting the ball with enough time. I mean, I don't know. That's just me. But what else we got in the chat? Liz Golden, availability is the best quality of a player and hope is the best quality of a fan this year anyway. Valid. Yeah, we speak it into existence on here. The best availability or the best ability is availability. Man. And Liz saying Bruno gets mad and clips players. Fair. Nadir, Greenwood overall has had a poor season. He's only been playing well the last few games. I feel like Mason Greenwood is clinical when he plays, though.
He has been affected, though, by, I think he lost one of his best friends, who I think was a Man City youth player, who I think killed himself. So I think that's kind of affected his game as well. He's obviously had international troubles with England as well. So, but Greenwood's a very, very good player. But I do agree to the fact that, yes, he has had a poor season, but recently he's been an absolute fire. So we definitely have to watch out for him.
He's a dangerous player.
Very dangerous.
Very raw,
player.
but he'll be really good.
Yeah, we can't forget about it, if he doesn't start. We can't forget about Cavani coming on the pitch late in the game. I mean, they got a lot of attacking options. You know what I mean? Someone said it earlier as well. McTominay and Fred carry their midfield. Depending on who we start, I'm thinking if Nat Phillips isn't healthy, Fabinho's playing at the back. I can almost guarantee you that. And then we're looking at a midfield of Thiago, Milner, Wijnaldum, right? I feel like, do we win that midfield battle with those three?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
Well, what do you consider winning the battle?
So if they play a 4-2-3-1. I think that's what they go with most of the time. I could be wrong, but I feel like that's what they play with. And then they usually go with Pogba in the midfield with McTominay. No, they probably go 4-3-3 then. It doesn't matter.
I think we'll see Fred and McTominay today. You
think you'll see both of them?
I mean, don't they usually do that in big games?
No, yeah,
I
mean, sometimes
it's what they've been calling it is McFred. So it's McTominay and Fred. They usually play it. They usually play that pivot. So they do usually play that in the big games. And then Kyle's right. They play Pogba, Fernandes, and then sometimes it's James, and then sometimes it's Greenwood, and then Cavani up top.
Yeah, they mix it up. They really do. Yeah, a lot of people saying 4-2-3-1.
What about Rashford? Where's
James Milner?
You didn't mention Rashford.
He usually plays striker.
He would be either the striker or just behind the striker.
I think you're going to see Pogba on the bench.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
So what? Matic starts then?
No. I think you're going to see.
Because I think they did a 4-5-1
McTominay, Fred, Bruno, and then you're going to see Rashford, maybe Cavani, and then either Greenwood or James. I don't think you're going to see Pogba. I don't think there's a place for him in this lineup.
I could be wrong, but I am almost positive when they came to Anfield, they did a 4-5-1, and they had Matic.
Pogba was playing on the left.
It was either a 4-5-1 or a 5-3-2. They do like the 5-3-2 against us. They've done it quite a few times.
Yeah. Okay. So no, they did the 4-2-3-1. Okay, I was wrong. But
okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, I'm not always right. All right. So yeah, guys, look, let's go to the team news real quick, and then we'll go to the chat. And we'll just kind of. I'm in the wrong match. I don't want to go to this match. Here we go. Yeah, I don't know who they're going to start today. I really don't. I think for us that midfield is stapled on, right? And then we'll go with the front three. But in terms of who they're going to start, I can't see them not starting Pogba. That's just me, though.
No, I think you're right. I think they'll probably play a similar team that they played against Roma, but Henderson will be in for De Gea, and there might be a change up front. You might see Greenwood up front, possibly. But I think it'll be a similar team that they played against Roma.
Valid. Let's see here. So the team news, right? No new injuries with the exception of Jones and Martial. Man, Martial, poor guy. And then, of course, Van Dijk, Gomez, Matip, Henderson, all working their way back. So everyone else is healthy. Everyone else is available. All right. Now, Steve, your favorite section of the website. Did you know Man United have lost just one of their last 15 home matches against Liverpool in all comps? And we talked about this at the beginning. Doug presented us with some stats. Very interesting. Last 8 since March of 2014, actually. Now, Marcus Rashford has been directly involved in 5 goals in the last 4 home matches against Liverpool in all comps, scoring 4 and assisting 1. How do we shut? I think Fabinho is going to be in charge of shutting down Rashford today.
Definitely,
because Kabak? I don't know if Kabak's going to be able to do it. He's not. Marcus Rashford is way too quick and agile for Kabak. I think Fabinho can at least handle it.
It's funny you said the team news. Like there was no mention in Nat Phillips not missing this game or anything.
This is what I'm saying, Doug. Recently, there hasn't been news of these players being injured. I feel like Liverpool are keeping it out of the press. Like with Curtis Jones going down, I don't remember reading anything about Curtis Jones being injured. Like it came out after the game that like he wasn't available. You know what I mean? Mm. And I feel like this is that narrative where we have been so hammered with injuries. Keeping it out of the press just keeps the negativity off the club and off the players. What do you think about that? Have you experienced the same thing? Like, have you been kind of in the dark about the injuries?
Yeah, I have as well. And Phillips is one of those for sure because, look, Nat Phillips, for, as much as people say, yes, he was at Stuttgart last season on loan. But the one thing you can say, he hasn't put a foot wrong since he's been in the side. He's been so consistent for me.
Oh, yeah. I talk about this all the time. Don't even get me started. What's his deal? Is he fit?
Who knows?
Well, from what I can gather, he was training on his own, I think, on Thursday. And then Friday, the press conference Klopp had, he was actually training with the team. So I think he's touch and go. I think he's touch and go for this game.
I'd love to see him in there.
Well, so would I, because then Fabinho will be in the midfield.
Well, there was a wee stat going around that we have won. We have only lost one game with Fabinho in the defensive midfield role, and when he's been a centre back, we've lost 5 since the turn of 2021.
I'm telling you, this is what I'm saying, because Fabinho in the CDM role, we need him there.
Numbers don't lie.
Yeah,
the numbers don't lie. All right. People are saying that I did see videos on Twitter, actually, of the fans on the pitch, with the smoke and everything like that. Hopefully they leave the pitch in time. I would hate for the game to be canceled. Of course, everyone should be able to protest, but I would hate for it to impact the game. Let's go over to the chat. We'll close it off with some what people are thinking in the chat. Romario, going back to what we were talking about earlier. Henderson, Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, Lindelof. Oh, he's predicting the lineup for them. McTominay, Fernandez, Pogba, and Rashford. Yeah. Okay. Nadir saying McFred is too negative. Wonder what he means by that.
Negative, there's nothing going forward, he means.
Yeah, too negative for them.
I feel like... Sorry.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
I don't think Pogba's going to play.
I just
have a feeling.
Okay.
I just have a feeling.
Might play there
because he has no work rate.
They might play their forgotten man, Donny van de Beek.
He's
let's
our
be
Ben
honest.
Davies.
Let's be honest. He's been stuck on that bench for ages.
Why would you buy him?
I just feel like when you have Thiago, when you have Milner, possibly Fabinho in the midfield, you have to be able to match that. And I just don't think they can with Bruno and McTominay there. Or I feel like they need Fred and McTominay for a bit of just to at least battle somewhat. And then I think Pogba becomes the odd man out because he doesn't offer enough going forward on the wing, and he doesn't offer enough up top as a striker. But you have to have Bruno in there, so I think that leaves you with Rashford and Cavani and Jones or Greenwood.
Where he's
I
very
think you're going to see a
dangerous.
4-3-3 with Bruno sitting in a central attacking mid role, McFred right behind him, and then up top you got Rashford, Cavani, and then Jones Daniel Greenwood. James or Greenwood. That's what I'm thinking. I could be wrong. I just feel like Pogba's the odd man out here. We don't need someone dribbling in the middle of the field today. Paul,
that's kind of what
we don't need that. We don't need you dancing around
because that's where he's dangerous. Steve, he's you're right. He doesn't offer too much on the wings. He doesn't really offer too much defensively. But where Pogba's dangerous is when he gets on the edge of the opposition's box. He's just good at creating space, holding players off, and waiting for runners, and then just finding them or just taking a rip from 20 or 30 yards out. That's where he's dangerous.
And then when Thiago gets the ball and flicks it up to Milner and we're on the break, you're going to wish you had McTominay and Fred putting their lives on the line to get back. Because Pogba's going to be like this. Pogba and Bruno. What's up, man? Hey. Water? That's all you're going to see.
Throwing their hands up when they concede. This team's trash.
Weak. Soft. Just walking back.
Yeah. I have to 100% agree with that. They are so soft in the center of the park.
Crazy, man.
And this is why they've been wanting a central defensive midfielder for ages. I think Ndidi's been mentioned as the one that they're wanting, but then again, the last time they paid out for a Leicester City player was £80 million in Maguire. So think of how much Ndidi will cost, 100+ million probably.
Oh yeah, Leicester are finessing clubs.
You could get Ndidi for 50, but I get your point. You could get Ndidi for 50. Oh yeah, you could.
No, because of his age. He's super young still. He's 23, and he's that affects your value. He's very good.
You think he's going to cost 100 million? You both do.
No, I don't think 100, but I think he's gonna. The question is not what he's going to cost. It's the question of what Leicester value him at. Okay, we know Harry Maguire was not worth 85 million. Okay, we know Ben Chilwell was not worth what he was worth. Okay, but they finesse these clubs because they know that if Leicester are doing what they're doing now because they're trying to build up their bank account, right? They have good players. Then they've been able to recruit very well after winning the league. They have great management over there, and so they're trying to get as much out of these players because they know they're going to have to sell them on eventually. They're still in that gray area between a selling club and a club that's competing, right? So honestly, I'm surprised they've kept Ndidi this long. I mean, Ndidi's really good.
With the pandemic, players are not going to go for what they could go for. He's also, I'm on transfer market right now. His value is 55 million. That's what this site says.
55.
So that's the value. When was the last time a club accepted market value for a player?
During the pandemic, players are going for less.
Correct, but that's probably
he's going to go for 35 million.
They're not good. That doesn't mean they have to sell him, is what I'm saying. They can hold on to him. It's not like Ndidi is knocking on Brendan Rodgers' door like, sell me. I need to get out of here.
Right.
Leicester are third in the table, aren't they?
He recently signed a new deal as well, Ndidi. I think he signed a new 4 or 5 year contract. So
there's value protection right there.
Yeah.
And Aaron T brings up a good point. If Bissouma's 30 mil, then Ndidi's 50 at least. Well, yeah, he's definitely at least 50. I think you could get 60 to 70 mil for Wilfred Ndidi. That's what I think. And I really think it's because his position is specialized. He's like a Fabinho. He is a solid CDM.
Well, Fabinho's better.
Oh, 100%.
Do you think we could sell Fabinho for 100 million right now?
No, but we would definitely sell Fabinho for 75.
I don't think so, dude.
What?
Nope.
Dude,
I don't think you're going to see a CDM touch that value since Rodri, because I think people are looking at that going, whoa.
No, listen, Steve, I just want to make this separation for everyone, okay? And if Doug, you can comment on this as well. I'm not saying that clubs are going to come in and pay that. I'm saying that's what they want for him, and that's what he could go for, okay? They're not, because first off, they're not looking to sell him. He's not on the transfer block or whatever, right? But when you say, for example, he's valued at whatever he's valued at, okay? That's why you look at these players like Konate. Konate's valued at around 40 million, maybe a little bit less. That's why the release clause is so important, because they could probably negotiate a higher price for him. That's what we do. Look at Coutinho. I just always bring this up because it's the last player we sold like for a significant amount of money. Coutinho's value was probably 70 to 80, 90, in that area, maybe 100. We finessed the hell out of Barcelona for that price. Like,
yeah, but
that's my only point, is that when clubs value a player, they are just gonna inflate the price to get the most out of them. Harry Maguire, especially Leicester, Harry Maguire, Ben Chilwell, Jose Perez, sorry, Riyad Mahrez, like they did it with these players.
They also managed to get £40 million for Danny Drinkwater from Chelsea.
40 for Danny Drinkwater.
Yeah.
Case in point.
Yeah, and I think Danny Drinkwater is now in Turkish football as well. So, he hasn't played for Chelsea in a long, long time. So he's had a few loan deals as well. I think he's been at Burnley. He's been at Aston Villa, and none of them have come off. So now he's in Turkish football. Says it all, really.
Ndidi's max price would be 50.
No, they just wouldn't. They wouldn't accept that. Like they would keep him before they would sell him for 50.
All right.
Let me ask you this, Steve. Okay, when you look at the three players, if you look at Harry Maguire, you look at Ben Chilwell, and Wilfred Ndidi. If Wilfred Ndidi goes for 50, that makes him the lowest of the three. Who would you rather have out of all those three?
I'd rather have Ndidi. I'm just letting you know, no one's paying $100 million for a central defensive midfielder.
That's why he should go for, if not the highest, he should go for at least higher than Ben Chilwell.
It's never going to happen because he's a central defensive midfielder.
Okay.
And they're a dime a dozen.
You think a good CDM is a dime a dozen?
Kyle, Fabinho's 40. Right?
Mm-hmm.
What? Well, yeah.
What could we get for him now? Maybe 60? Maybe? No one's going to pay 80 million for Fabinho. I'm talking about what's realistic.
I know, and I'm talking
not
about
compare him to Ben Chilwell, not compare him to Harry Maguire. Like, no one's going to pay $100 million for Wilfred Ndidi. No.
This is what I'm saying right here. Liz put it perfectly. A structured deal doesn't reflect the actual value of a player. That is what I'm saying. Is like, you can have the market value of a player, but that doesn't mean that's what the player's going to go for, or that's what the club's going to play. That's my only pay. That's my only point.
I just don't think you're ever going to see Wilfred Ndidi go for a price above 50, maybe 60. Ever.
I think we're just going to have to agree to disagree.
Okay.
All right.
Imagine someone buying Wilfred Ndidi for over $60 million. That's mind-blowing. That is mind-blowing to me.
I'm telling you, if there's clubs out there that do it, Man United overpay for players. Tottenham overpay for players. Clubs overpay for players all the freaking time. Liverpool are just not one of those clubs. We either negotiate it down or we move on. I'm telling you.
Michael Edwards.
Well, we're an exception.
We are an exception.
What do you think Liverpool would pay for Ndidi?
We wouldn't pay more than 45. I'm telling you right now.
45. Yeah.
Dude. Oh, my God.
Well, another hot take. Write this down. When Wilfred Ndidi gets sold, we'll see if it was for 100 million or 75 or 80. It's not happening.
I'm telling you, he's not going for 100.
Rodri was the exception to that rule. The rest, you're going to see him floating down here. 50, 40, 55. Would Rodri go for 85?
No. He was in the 60s, wasn't he?
Rodri?
60s or 70s.
High.
It was high, but I can't remember. I can't remember how much it was. I think
it wasn't in the 80s. I want to say it was in the 70s. I really do. I think it was in the 70s. It was like 73. I think it was 73.
77.
Maybe not 55.
$77 million.
77 for
Well,
Rodri.
that's his value. He went for 69 million.
69 million, and you're telling me that you couldn't get something similar for Wilfred Ndidi.
Exactly what I'm telling you.
I just don't agree with you.
I'm not saying I think Ndidi's better, but this is all just it's all skewed.
It's
I don't think Rodri's that great either. In all honesty.
I don't. But I think people realize you can't spend that kind of money on a central defensive midfielder.
No.
That's what I think people are realizing. This is the example.
Hey, look, I just want to say real quick that Man United let Paul Pogba leave for free and then bought him back for 88 million. What a bunch of idiots, dude.
I think it was 250k that Fergie let him go to Juve, and then
I thought it was free. Okay, still.
Yeah, 250k, and then Mourinho bought Pogba for 89 million.
Absolute joke of a business deal right there. Look, guys, I'm going to let you guys end the show with your closing thoughts, predictions, lineups, whatever you want to say. Doug, you're up, my man.
I'm going to base this on Phillips is fit. So it's going to be Ali, Trent, Kabak, Phillips is fit, Robbo, Fabinho, Thiago, Milner, Salah, Jota, Mane.
Salah, Jota, Mane. So no Bobby. Or are you going 4-2-3-1? Did I miss something?
No, I'm going 4-3-3. No, okay. No Bob. No. Actually, I'll rephrase that. I think Mane might get a rest. I'm going to go Jota, Firmino, Salah.
See, that's what I was going to say.
I was going to say that too. Steve, what are you?
Same thing. 2-1 win. Us. Same lineup. See you later, Sadio.
Yeah. So I'm going to pretend that Phillips is fit, and I'll go my back five with Phillips and Kabak, Fabinho, CDM, Thiago, and Milner. Actually, I don't know. Thiago Wijnaldum, maybe. It's just one of those weird games. And then I'm gonna go, Jota, Salah, Firmino. I feel like Mane, man, you gotta. I don't think he deserves to start.
I think he needs his rest. I don't think James Milner should be dropped. I think he's one of the first names in the team sheet.
See, I agree with that, but part of me just feels like Klopp, at least the way he's used Milner this year, it's like even though Milner has been great, he's not the first team. He's not the first name on the team sheet. All right. At least that's just what I think. But I want Milner to start, but I base my lineup predictions based on what I think Klopp's going to do. And I've only been right like 2 times. So take that for what you will. And guys, real quick, again, thank you for joining in, tuning in, leaving your thoughts throughout the chat. As always, check out my man Doug, the Dugout Football channel, trying to get to 1,200 subscribers. Great channel over there. Again, thanks, Doug, for joining us. And also, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell as well, so YouTube will send you those notifications. I really hope the match goes forward, guys. I would hate for it to get canceled from the protests.
It'll go forward.
It'll go ahead. Go ahead.
For me, it's the safety thing, but hopefully it will. And, I'm gonna do a watch along. I've decided. I didn't know if I was gonna do it or not, but I'm gonna do a watch along because I feel like it's gonna be intense.
Well, then maybe that's how I'll watch the game. It's just listen to you on my headphones.
I'm just gonna drop in a little slight at you about Wilfred Ndidi throughout.
Oh God, you guys and Wilfred Ndidi. I know he's great, but you're not going to see him go for that much money.
Yeah, just to say thank you very much for having me. I've really enjoyed this, and hopefully I can come back on in the future.
No, absolutely, Doug. Happy to have you. Thanks again, and thanks to everyone in the chat. Up the Reds. Until next time, take care.